You're watching For the Health of It, a guide for cancer patients. This is being brought to you by Cooking with Cancer, Inc. Log on to www.cookingwithcancer.org. Welcome to For the Health of It. I'm Edie Hand, and this is my kitchen. And joining me today is Dr. Louise Pineda. Thank you so much, Dr. Pineda, for being in my kitchen.
Pleasure to be here with you, my dear. It's always a pleasure to do so.
Well, I appreciate that. And I wanted to tell our viewers that we're going to share with them a little bit about something that's become very passionate to you, and that's certainly ways to cook with cancer. But before we do that, I'd love for you to share just a little bit about your background, a little bit about being an oncologist, and so that they'll understand where you are and what you've been doing over the last, has it been 25 years?
That is correct, Edie. Yeah. Well, Edie, I am originally from Guatemala in Central America, and I graduated from medical school in Guatemala. Then I came to University of Nebraska. In University of Nebraska, I did training in, interestingly enough, internal medicine and psychiatry. So I'm a psychiatrist as well.
Lord knows I need a good friend for a psychiatrist.
Then I actually came down to UAB, and at UAB I did my fellowship in hematology and oncology. Since then, I have been in private practice in Birmingham. I had always had the need for continue with my education, and the consequence of that is that I have become a master in health service administration, and then eventually, given the experiences that I have had practicing medicine, I decided that I needed to go to culinary.
And see, I love that. I mean, that is your gift from being a physician that you wanted to give back, I think, to your patients, is to help your patients and other people's patients, or you out there that is going through chemo or radiation. And by going to culinary school, you're able to come up with some pretty incredible recipes, I think, that are making a difference for you out there. And I'd love for you to share with our viewers how they can wake up their taste. I love the analogies that you were sharing with me earlier today with the rubber band. Would you mind sharing that?
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, the whole point as it was born was the concept that seeing people taking chemotherapy, radiation therapy, and they having such a great deal of difficulty either doing the eating or tasting, began to realize that we were missing the boat, that, you know, we needed to try to improve the quality of their life and their ability to sustain nutrition. So the concept that I was talking to you about is what we will be demonstrating sometime later on today. Mm-hmm. And if I just use an example to that.
Okay.
And I always say that if you just follow with me this simple concept, this is a rubber band, and the rubber band is actually dead off right there on top of the stove. Now, if I go ahead and stretch it, in essence, I am putting some energy inside of it so that if I let it go, it jump and release the energy to it. Very simple concept. Now, if I apply this very same concept to what happened with flavor, mm-hmm. and I think in terms that I have receptors in my mouth and in my nose, and that those receptors are going to give me the sense of smell and the sense of taste. Those receptors are normally like a rubber band. They are basically quiet without doing anything to it.
It's kind of like it's gone to sleep a little bit.
That is correct. Now, if I eat something, these receptors get activated, and on the basis of keeping this energy in essence, receive and transmit the taste and the smell, and that goes then into the brain.
It wakes up the smell.
That is correct. Now, this is a very simplistic way of looking at this.
I like it.
But nonetheless, explain the reason why some of these recipes. Because then what happens is, if I have somebody who is taking chemotherapy or is taking radiation therapy.
Right.
And I go ahead and, in essence, put the receptors to sleep on the basis of the radiation of this, then I will have to use something that will stretch and convey that energy again. In other words, reactivate the receptors so that they can smell and taste again.
Well, what can we do to wake up the flavor with this recipe you've brought today here? What can we share with our viewers this recipe? Because I know it's easy. You told me this was easy, and it only requires a cantaloupe, right?
That is correct.
And a peach. And what do you call that recipe? You call it a cantaloupe peach sauce, or something like that? What do you call that?
Well,
I'm making this up.
yeah, well, to make it simple, is basically a pan saute cantaloupe
Okay.
with a pepper sauce, and whatever fruit you add to that, you can say, well, it's a mango attached to it,
Oh,
right?
okay.
Or dragon fruit, or whatever it is.
Well, all of our procedures here, just so we can show this, we would start with, we have olive oil.
That is correct.
And I've got this on medium heat, so I would put this in, okay? And I'm going to show them how we can do this. And then we put, now you tell me, you show me what to do.
Well,
I put
before you
water-
do that,
before I do
remember that is going to be for the sauce. First,
Okay.
we're going to prep our fruit,
Okay.
right?
All right, we're going to
Okay.
prep our fruit.
So I will go ahead and basically cut out of my fruit a slice of it. Say, for example, let's say about maybe a centimeter and a half inside. And this is the preparation shot. And I want you to realize how this is so simple, how very little amount of components there is to it. You can find this everywhere.
Anywhere in your local grocery store.
That is correct.
Okay.
That is correct. All right. So I am proceeding with basically prepping this, and I am basically removing the seeds, and I have a bowl where I will get all my waste so that it doesn't go all over the place. You want to be clean and nice whenever you are in the kitchen.
I'm all about it in my kitchen.
Right.
I hope you are out there too.
Okay. And of course, you don't need to have any special device to do that. But I get it clean, and then after that, I will go ahead
You take the skin off?
and, in essence, cut the skin off. And of course, careful with your fingers.
Now that's a knife. That's
Okay.
a big knife.
That is a chef knife.
All of you, don't do this with anyone you're upset with. This is so this, when you slice this, then do you cut it in quarters or halves, Dr.
Well,
Bennett? Any way you feel
whichever
creative?
way will be easier for you. Certainly, after you cook it, will be a little bit more difficult to manage. So we can make it in quarters.
Okay.
Okay. Now, very simple.
I'm gonna bring this
Remember
over
that
here.
you're going to saute these.
Right.
So you want to have your pan already hot.
It's hot. Okay.
And then you just put it on there. Now, remember that the issue with this will be that has a lot of water to it. As a matter of fact, one of the reasons why this recipe exists is because for days that you have dehydration problems, this is going to provide a lot of fluid intake for you.
So when you're going through that dehydration
That is
period, this is
correct.
going to be a great recipe for you
right.
out there for that.
The other issue will be that it's very soft. So whenever you have difficulties with your mouth being sore because of the chemotherapy, you don't even have to chew this thing in order to be able
Really,
to
I'm
swallow
gonna
it.
get a spatula here, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and I just flip this over.
Now you want to make sure that you wait until it has basically lost a little bit of the water and has begun to caramelize.
Okay.
And the caramelization, if you remember, is the formation of a special sugar that coats that and gives the brownish discoloration to it.
Smell-o-vision.
The other thing I want to emphasize to you is that the use of olive oil, in my view, is very important because olive oil is very healthy versus, if you would, animal product grease, like butters or any other kind of fat or trans fat that is not recommended. Olive oil is known and is part of the Mediterranean diet, and it's very healthy for your heart.
I love those Mediterranean diets, and certainly for those of us, I am a chronically ill patient, and I've been through cancer 3 times, and I know that this is somewhat, even when I go through periods and I want to get leaner out, because sometimes these drugs tend to blow us up, you know, and different chemo radiation, your body's just not reacting the same. So I love those diets, the Mediterranean diet, because it does help you kind of with your walking. Walking's great if you can walk and get that exercise in, and eating healthy is so important, isn't it?
I tell you something. There was, as a matter of fact, a report that came up yesterday that indicates the fact that the more active you are, the more not only do you protect your heart, but as a matter of fact, has a great protection against cancers, in particular cancers of the colon and cancers of the breast. Now, the government now will tell you that it's not just a matter of exercising perhaps 3 times a week, 30 minutes a day, but actually you're talking about exercising at least briskly, at least 1 hour, at least 5 times a week. And that does have definitely a protective effect against cancer. Right?
Yes.
Which is so much easier to be before rather than after.
Well, we're living in days where certainly today we're certainly much more educated, and that's what, for the health of it, is being brought into your home for. Dr. Pineda and his staff, and we've all come together with a vision of educating you better. I'm certainly learning a lot myself, and that I can cook something a little different and that can be palatable during difficult times in my life, and family members that I love that are going through cancer. I'm not going through it right now, but I certainly have some family members that are. And this has been a blessing to me, because I have passed this along, and to a physician friend of mine in Northwest Alabama, that for his patients, he's going to share these recipes, Dr. Pineda. So that's the intent, is for you out there that's going through this, or someone you love. And I wanted, because of television and the time, is what can we do to show them the other ingredients? If this was plated up, I'm going to show them how, if we took this, I'll let you take charge. Is that so that I can come right over here beside you and show them that the simple ingredients with your cantaloupe, and you've got a peach, and he is certainly going to caramelize this, and you would do that by adding, when you take that up, when it's brown, right, Dr. Pineda? Right. You take it, you have your own creativeness in it, and that's what's great about it, is it becomes your dish. You can be creative with it, and cooking's what that's about. That smells good. And then you plate it up like this, and then once Dr. Pineda finished with the cantaloupe, he would have done a sauce in this, right, Dr. Pineda? Would do a sauce, and then that sauce, what all goes in that? Do you add your water then? Yeah,
and then this is already beginning to caramelize itself. You can see already the brown and discoloration to that. And I'm going to go ahead and take this out.
Okay.
All right. And then just for the purposes of this, I'm going to just smash this one part. And that is going to become the base, if you would, for my sauce.
Right.
So I'm going to add, if I may, a little bit of the water.
Okay.
Okay. And added to that, I'm going to go ahead and use my magic thing.
Your magic
pepper.
And that is
a
little pepper.
Now this is a piquin pepper, and I'm going to add that to it.
It looks a little unique.
And I am basically going to start mixing it up, and this is going to reduce itself.
Oh, you just cook it then till it...
So this is actually a sauce, right?
Yes.
It's
so
a sauce.
Wait till it thickens a little.
That is correct. Now,
how long does that usually take?
Well, it takes about 4 or 5 minutes to do that.
Right,
Depends upon, how high your temperature will be.
They won't let us do that on television.
Right.
But yeah.
Well, the point will be that eventually, however, will come to be...
Look like that.
Pretty much like this.
Oh, that's great. Could we show that? Yeah, when that is finished, this is the next stage, is that I'm going to put it down right here, is that it would look like that.
Right. And that is thick. And of course, if you want to try, you're welcome to. But it is a very hot one, and I don't want you to jump.
I know.
Because I'm going to make a point to you, and that is, this is made for people who need to wake up the receptors.
Woo! My husband would love it.
All right?
He likes it hot.
My point to you will be the point that I will make to you, and I can see it in your eyes. is the fact that when people who have lost the ability to sense inside of the mouth and smell inside of the nose, they are capable of tasting again on the basis of the reactivation of the receptors. Remember the rubber band effect.
I think, yes, that we're going to wake up that taste of what's been laying dormant because of the treatment. And if you want to learn more about this recipe and how easy it is to do this, you can certainly log on to cookingwithcancer.org, and we'll be back with more for the health of it. So stay with us.
Hi, I'm Tom Shufflebarger with Children's Health System.
I'm Edie Hand, author and TV host.
We're working together to let you know about cooking up magic.
Yes, and we want you to enter a contest for children that are 18 and under who are diagnosed with cancer. Please send in your recipe today to win a free trip to Disney World for you and your family. Call 205-978-3568.
Or go to www.cookingwithcancer.org.
Do it today.
No matter what life's challenges might be, they can be overcome through faith, family, and friends. Read one woman's story of triumph in The Last Christmas Ride by Edie Hand and Jeffrey Addison. Available at Amazon.com and wherever books are sold.
Well, welcome back to Edie's Kitchen here, and we are cooking with cancer. And joining me in this segment is Patrick Means.
Yes, thank you for having me, Edie.
Well, it's my pleasure. And, you know, we've been talking with Dr. Pineda. He is the founder, as you know, of Cooking with Cancer. And
absolutely.
We're going to be cooking up some great recipes coming up in the show. But we thought it'd be kind of nice to hear your story, because I know that you went through cancer with your father.
I did. My father was diagnosed with cancer when I was a sophomore in college at the University of Mississippi, Ole Miss, playing football. And I received a phone call late one night about midnight. My father was living in Singapore, and he was on his way to Shanghai to check on a business project that he had going on. And on his way to Shanghai, in the airport, he collapsed and got immediately put into the hospital. Had no signs of cancer before then, but collapsed, put into the hospital, and went to a deep coma. My older brother and I received a phone call late at night around midnight from a lady with broken English saying, "We request you to be by your father's side."
Wow, what was that like for you at that moment?
It was very surreal. I really didn't know what to think of it, because my father, I've never even seen my father cry. I've never seen him have a cold, a cough, or anything. So for a man that you've never seen be sick at all of a sudden be put in the hospital, and then you're being told that he has a couple days to live, and this is your father, who you absolutely love, is my best friend. We talk all the time. It's the whole reason why I got into TV and football was him. And so we went down to New Orleans and got our passports and got tickets, and my older brother and I flew to Singapore to be by his side. And I remember walking into the hospital, and they take us to ICU. And in ICU, I remember looking at each individual room. And I remember seeing this one room that the man he had pipes down his throat, respirator and everything. And I was like, I feel sorry for whoever's family that is, because you can't even recognize who that is. And what they did is they actually took us to that room.
Wow.
And my father was in a coma, and I remember walking in and saying, "Hey, Dad," and his eyes opened, and a tear just fell down his face.
You know, to me, I can empathize with you, because I lost all three of my brothers, died young. My last brother, Terry, died with a brain tumor, and I caregave for him for 7 years.
Right.
But hearing what you've gone through is pretty powerful, because how long did your father last?
Well, he was given a couple days to live, but he was actually lived for 7.5 more months. He came out of the hospital. My older brother stayed in Singapore, as my father requested me to go back to school, because his one thing that he always wanted me to accomplish was to graduate from college and get a college education. So I went back to school reluctantly. I wanted to stay by his side, but I was able to have the last day that I was there. I spent about 8 hours with him, and we went over life and everything. But the one thing a young man never wants to hear from his father, it's not necessarily "I love you," but that I'm proud of you. And that's what I got to hear from my dad. My dad told me he was proud of the man I became, and he looked forward to seeing what I was going to do in the future. So I got on a plane and flew back to the States to take care of the rest of my family.
I can tell you, Patrick, your father will be very proud of you.
Well, thank you very much.
Because I've gotten to know you some in these last few months, and I can see that you have achieved that goal of becoming in your field of broadcasting, as well as
Absolutely.
now you're also in the sports with what your father had loved for you to do,
Absolutely.
and that was.
I now own a company that is called One-on-One Kicking. We have a website called www.oneononekicking.com, and what we do is we coach young men, young athletes from 7th to 8th grade all the way up to college and pro players in the art of kicking and place kicking for football. And over the past 8 years, my partner and I, Mike McCabe, have gotten over 200 kids offered scholarships and over 150 walk-on opportunities to play college football. So it's really something that we've been able to have an impact with these kids, and it's so much joy comes on these kids' faces when you can see just simple things you tell them, and all of a sudden the ball just flies off their foot. And the fact that their education can be paid for by the art of kicking is unbelievable to me.
Well, that's kind of like sharing this with the art of cooking.
Absolutely.
Of make a difference in a young child and a young adult or an adult's life. Is that's what we're trying to bring in on the show. But I bet you feel your father's presence, don't you?
I do. It's something that I never really dreamed of doing. I always thought I was just going to go into my father's company and work with him. But the fact that I've gotten into broadcasting and being able to coach kicking is two things I absolutely love. And my dad always told me, do the things you love, because that's the way you're truly going to be happy. So that's what I've gotten to do.
Well, I got a favor to ask of you.
Yes, ma'am.
We've got a young man that's been diagnosed with cancer, and
Okay.
he loves cooking first, but he loves
Absolutely.
sports.
Absolutely.
So I wonder if you would teach him how to kick a football.
We will be more than happy to take him out on the field, teach him how to kick. You might even have some type of present for him too.
Oh, that would be awesome. Thank you so much for coming into our kitchen and being a part of Cooking with Cancer, and I hope we'll see you around again.
Thank you so much, Edie. I appreciate your time.
And we'll be right back with more from Dr. Pineda, and we'll show you how to cook up a great dish just for you out there that needs this.
Hi, I'm Tom Shufflebarger with Children's Health System.
I'm Edie Hand, author and TV host.
We're working together to let you know about cooking up magic.
Yes, and we want you to enter a contest for children that are 18 and under who are diagnosed with cancer. Please send in your recipe today to win a free trip to Disney World for you and your family. Call 205-978-3568.
Or go to www.cookingwithcancer.org.
Do it today.
No matter what life's challenges might be, they can be overcome through faith, family, and friends. Read One Woman's Story of Triumph in The Last Christmas Ride by Edie Hand and Jeffrey Addison. Available at Amazon.com and wherever books are sold.
Welcome back to For the Health of It. I'm Edie Hand, and here's Dr. Pineda and Gina Schubert. And Gina, I know that you're going to be our voice for Pickles. Would you share with everyone what Pickles is about?
I certainly will. Pickles is the creative person of Cooking with Cancer, and he's off right now coming up with all kinds of creative things for us. Pickles is also on our website. And
And what's that website?
It's cookingwithcancer.org. And you can go onto the website and you can send in some questions that you would like for us to address. If there is any kind of nutritional needs that you would like for us to bring to you on the show, we'll be glad to address those, as well as any kind of helpful hints.
You know, and too, if someone has a story, Dr. Pineda, that might be of a heart to heart that we could share, whether it be a child or an adult, we'd love to hear it, wouldn't we?
Oh, absolutely. And I would say something. It's not from us to you. It's the other way around too, from you to us, so that you can have an input into this program.
Absolutely. If there's symptoms that we're not addressing, we'd love to hear that from you, because Dr. Pineda will get back in that kitchen and he'll find a recipe that works just for you if he doesn't have one in his recipe book that he's working on. And Gina, I know with our Q&A questions, and we've got this cute little rat out here that we call Ratatouille, and we've all had a lot of fun with Ratatouille, is that I actually went to the movie. Did you guys go to it? Did you?
Absolutely, sure did.
Yes, ma'am.
And of course, it's the premise is anybody can cook.
Well, it's true. If I can do it, you can do it.
Well, we all try to do it, and that's what this is about, is that we've created a voice of Pickles, and Gina's going to be that voice. And what's that email if they want to send in to ask Pickles some questions?
Well, the email address for Pickles is pickles@cookingwithcancer.org. And in Cooking with Cancer, the mission statement of Cooking with Cancer is helping those afflicted with cancer through the art of good food.
And that's important with what we're trying to do in each show, is to bring you a recipe that will hopefully meet your need. And as Dr. Pineda said, if it doesn't, you just email Pickles and we'll get something out there. Now, I know we've gotten some questions that you certainly get a lot all the time. And so what's a couple that we've gotten recently?
Well, I do have a couple questions, Edie, so let me pull them up right here and see what viewers have written in. Why do people who are sick not have the same right to eat well? Dr. Pineda, would you like to answer that?
Oh my goodness, what a great question. It surely is, because one of the things that I say when I was going to school is, why is that a cook and a chef learn to cook for normal people? Why is that sick people, abnormal people, do not have the right to eat well and to enjoy it? Absolutely, and one of the reasons for the existence of this program is to try to address that issue.
And I think that that's something that perhaps maybe more chefs in school will grasp that and go out into restaurants and know that if they have a special need person to come in their restaurant, because I've been a special need person to go in and there was sometimes nothing I could have on the menu.
Absolutely.
And so I think this would be great if we can get that message out there, a little stronger voice.
Absolutely.
And what's that other question?
The other question that was sent in was, let's see, once you reach a certain age, are mammograms still necessary?
Well, for me, I am a breast cancer survivor, and you know, it's hereditary in my family, so I started at an early age, and I know that the normal age is 35, but I started in my 20s, and early prevention saved me from having to have a radical mastectomy. My tumor, it had not metastasized, so therefore I had a lumpectomy, and so I'm very much encouraged that. What do you think?
Isn't that a point? The whole process means that you can do something ahead of time. Let me perhaps say something important to you. Even if you are older, Medicare pays for your mammograms, and you should continue to do so, because cancer can happen even if you are an older person. So please do so.
That's the key today, I think, is preventive medicine. And what's Pickles' quote that he's got?
Well, Edie, you know Pickles' quote is, life is what you taste of it.
It certainly is. And on behalf of Dr. Pineda, Gina, and myself, we want to thank you for joining for the health of it. And stay with us, because next week we'll have some great stories coming to you, and we've got a very special young man that you'll want to meet.
Hi, I'm Tom Scheffelbarger with Children's Health System.
I'm Edie Hand, author and TV host.
We're working together to let you know about Cooking Up Magic.
Yes, and we want you to enter a contest for children that are 18 and under who are diagnosed with cancer. Please send in your recipe today to win a free trip to Disney World for you and your family. Call 205-978-3568.
Or go to www.cookingwithcancer.org.
Do it today.